Hi, I'm Melinda Alexander, the creator and host of Own Your Power, Lead Your Way, a summit designed to empower leaders to break free from overfunctioning, stop living on autopilot, and create a life where next level success and true fulfillment coexist. Today's guest is Beth Daniel Jones, a pioneer in energy medicine and the founder of Best Healing Solutions. After a miraculous recovery from chronic illness, Beth turned her pain into purpose, working with clients and training healers around the world through her Best Healing Solutions Mastery Program. With a background in educational psychology and over 2 decades of remote energy healing experience, she's a living example of what happens when science, spirit, and energy align. Get ready to be inspired and empowered. Beth, I am so excited to have you here with us today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Melinda. I love being here with you today. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's an honor and a privilege to have you here.
Thank you.
And Beth, you've been doing this work for over 24 years now, and
Yep.
you're a walking testimonial to healing and the power of energy medicine. Can you share a little bit about your story with us?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's interesting because I've been doing this work for 24 years, as you said. So
Mhm.
that means about 24 years ago, I was struggling, severely struggling and with health issues that became very chronic very quickly. And it's so interesting because I have a really hard time connecting to who I was back then,
Mhm.
what was going on back then, because it was really rough, but I love my life. So it's very hard. Many people will say, well, when are you going to write a book about your healing story? Because it's really profound. Like, well, I have a hard time connecting to that person
Mhm.
because she had such a hard time.
Mhm.
So I will do that. I'll share a little bit. It seems so long ago, like another lifetime. And what
Well,
had
just
happened?
know you're held here. I want you to know you're
Oh,
held here.
thank
So
you.
just take yourself at a pace, yeah, that is appropriate for yourself.
Thank you.
We're here for you.
Oh, I appreciate that. I do. Because yes,
I understand. I understand how going back to hard times can activate those circuits. And it's appropriate in our conversation because we'll
yes.
bring that into the self-care of why we're doing this summit here today, which is to
Yes.
connect with ourselves.
Yeah, very
So
much.
thank you for sharing that and thank you for letting me
Oh,
interrupt you.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. Thank you. Yes, well, seriously, those neural pathways, yes, they do get reactivated.
Mhm.
And that's something I'll be talking about today with you too, Melinda. So thank you for
Great.
saying,
I
yeah,
love
for
it.
saying that. So yes, I was the classic perfectionist, overachiever, you know, no pain, no gain person. And I was a psychologist at the time and was working in inner city and helping kids, and it was all consuming, and I loved it. But I wore myself out, and then I had a health scare, which ended up becoming a cascade of health issues, one after another, for a couple of years. And I was living in LA at the time, so there were a lot of alternative people to help me as well, and nothing was helping no matter what I did, traditional medicine, alternative healing, therapy, all of it.
Mhm.
And I went to Mayo Clinic, I went other places, and I was kind of a confusing case, apparently. So I decided I needed to find something else. And I was introduced to energy medicine when I lived in Los Angeles. I had never even heard of it. I was a psychologist. I was traditional psychologist. I what is all this other stuff? It sounds a little crazy to me.
Yeah.
And so I was introduced to energy medicine and tried it and found answers and turned over rocks and found answers to my health problems that I never had any idea existed or would affect someone's health. And then the highlight of and the topic of this whole conversation and your wonderful summit you put together fits right in, and I had no idea either. How could being a perfectionist and overachiever be part of any of this?
Right.
It was, and it was at the cellular level.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about, is how do we get to that place of finding healing?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was a year of really working on myself and my healing, and that included physical, emotional, trauma. I do a lot of trauma work,
Mhm.
looking at my beliefs, my diet, my lack of hydration, my addiction to Diet Coke and pretzels, and I never ate anything else. I mean, there were so many components at play. So I took a comprehensive dive, and then I worked with my ex-husband, and I put together an energy medicine, really modality here. And
Mhm.
then I took it a few years later and added some more, I think, just awesome elements to it that, we'll talk about today. And, we've been going strong for a long time here, but, yeah, that was I think that's where most of us have our inspiration is falling on our face and our bodies falling apart, and then we have a moment, where we can make a choice. I
That's
like to
right.
call it the gift of desperation,
Mhm.
where we can make a choice to do something different and not just get our lives back, but have a new existence that's better than we've ever had when we're willing to look at those pieces.
I love that. I love that. The gift of desperation. It doesn't feel like a gift when you're in it, does it? But there is a gift if we choose to look. If we choose to look. We're the gift of awareness, the gift of something has to change. I remember being in that crux in my life where I had done everything the world had told me to do to be successful and happy. And
Yeah,
my health was declining. I was wearing myself out, and on some really deep levels, I was pretty miserable
yeah,
and ready for change. So again, the gift of desperation was definitely there, and those seeds of change. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that
oh,
story with us.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that I heard, I used to live in Maui. I know you're
Hmm.
in Hawaii, and
Yes.
Wayne Dyer was my, across the island neighbor.
Hmm.
And, one of the things he used to say was that, the vast majority of people will not change or do their inner healing or spiritual work until or unless something really significant happens in their life. It's a major trauma. He said,
Hmm.
most people just won't do it. 90% of people, that's how we get there. There's a small percent that'll just say, well, life is okay. I think I'm going to look at these issues, but it's a very small percent.
Yeah, we stay comfortable, don't we? Or we stay in our patterns and our ingrained
Yes,
taught behaviors
that's
until
right.
they don't work anymore, and it becomes painful enough
Yeah,
that we must make change. I used to think I must be a really stubborn person. I must be really stubborn on some level, but it's really more neurological and, like you said,
yeah,
cellular, ingrained pattern. But I would judge that. I'd be like, why do I push myself this far? And even with all my knowledge to this day, during creating this conference, I see my levels of overfunctioning trying to surface and managing them and walking with them in a loving way, even now. So I respect these places of ourselves, and I respect that turning point that you shared. It's
yeah,
a very valuable time. So as far as, you know, talking to the audience right now, if you're
yeah,
hearing this, this conference, this summit series of amazing, beautiful speakers is really about talking about that awareness and that turning point. So you're in good company.
that's right.
That's right. So Beth brought a really delicious title to this talk today, and it's finding out what internally runs you and ruins you. And I really wanted to say that out loud and not just print it below, but finding out what internally runs you and ruins you. That's what we're talking about today. So we talked a little bit about how overfunctioning and disconnection from yourself and reconnecting with yourself touched your life and helped you stop running, say, on autopilot. In
Yeah,
your work, how do you see these patterns showing up, and how do you help people shift out of them? If you want to share a particular story with clients, or just tell
yeah.
us about your work.
Yeah, and there's several client examples, but this is such a common issue. That's why I was so thrilled when I saw the topic here of your
Mhm,
summit
mhm,
because it touches most people, especially success-oriented people at some point
mhm,
in their life. So it's major and it touches most people to a degree. So I appreciate that so much that you're bringing this out into, awareness for people because that's the first component. That's the first hurdle.
mhm,
So one has to have the awareness that this is happening. And, for myself with my work, most people that come to me and my practitioners that I've trained also have some significant problem, dis-ease, dysfunction, pain, um, a lot of times physical issues. I mean, my specialty tends to be chronic conditions that they've tried everything else and nothing works. So a lot of the people that come in the door here at Best Healing Solutions they're having some kind of significant health crisis. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they have the awareness that they are an autopilot, overachieving person that's wearing
mhm,
themselves out. They just know they don't feel good. So, through the process of really what we do is diagnostics with self muscle testing, and we teach that in our
mhm,
mastery program, is how do we really, and we're not medical doctors, so we don't say diagnose in that terminology, but we diagnose through self muscle testing of multiple issues and areas of life, physical, emotional, beliefs, false beliefs that are running us. And we're going to talk a lot about that today.
mhm,
What's going on in the subconscious? What are your relationships like? What's your life like? And what are all of those components and diagnose what's happening for you at a cellular level. So I'll give you an example. There's a woman that I work with in the UK and clients everywhere because we do remote work over the phone. So we can help people anywhere, which I love. So I was working with her, and she has a history of, significant adrenal fatigue, to the point where she will just fall flat for days. She's a highly successful businesswoman, and she had been going through this pattern for really decades.
mhm,
And in our work, so I was talking with her and doing the testing process that we do. And one of the things she did want to work on was adrenal fatigue, which is very common in this field of overachieving and autopilot living. High cortisol
yes.
and adrenal fatigue, and a lot of times low thyroid, that's kind of in there often as well. Some
Mhm,
people, I worked with a gentleman today with some heart issues that have come from overdoing for years. He's 80 years old, he's still working full time, and he's got some heart issues showing up. So it oftentimes will manifest, in a physical way. So the woman I was referring to in the UK, we started the testing process, and what I was finding for her was major childhood pain, major childhood trauma, and dysfunction.
mhm,
And then how does that manifest for us? That manifests in false beliefs that absolutely run and ruin our lives. And, one of the things that Albert Einstein said, it's probably my favorite thing that he said, which there were a lot of good things.
mhm,
But the thing that he said, I'm paraphrasing, but the most important decision you will make in your life is how do you choose to see the world? Is your take and your perspective on the world one of the world is a dangerous place? Or is your perspective, this place is a place of love and healing and growth? And that's the most important decision you'll make in your life. So, what happens is, with childhood trauma, for example, you start to perceive the world in a certain way.
mhm,
If you have a traumatic childhood or a dysfunctional childhood, which most of us do at some level, it programs how you see the world. And then that program literally becomes automatic. It is your perception of the world. You
Mhm.
don't have to think about it. It's right there. It's how you see everything. And it's from a cellular place.
Absolutely.
So, what I was finding with her and many people is what are the false beliefs that come out of that trauma?
Mhm.
Well, some of hers were I have to be perfect to be loved.
Mhm.
I must control everything or I'm not safe. If I'm not in control, someone's going to die. I'm in charge of the family. If I'm not in control, things are going to go really bad. I
Mhm.
won't be safe. Somebody's going to die. The subconscious is very dramatic.
I think were you talking I think you were talking about me there. Was that me on the phone from a few years ago, especially? I know those beliefs. Yeah.
Right?
Just to
Yeah,
identify. It's very
yeah,
that hits right
yeah,
at home for me. I know
yeah.
those on an
Oh,
energetic level.
I knew I was supposed to talk to you today.
Yes, let's okay, everyone. This is about a personal session now.
Okay, bye. Yeah, right. So,
Well,
yes,
please
all
do
of
go
those
on.
false beliefs. Yeah. If it's gonna happen, it's up to me or it won't happen.
Yeah.
And the other thing too that really I found across the board is, life in a traumatic home or with traumatic situations.
Mhm.
The child then believes, "Okay, this is all so unpredictable that I must be able to predict things to be safe." They must be predictable or it's gonna be chaos and it's gonna go downhill from there.
Mhm.
So these folks, ourselves included,
Mhm.
become leaders, become success oriented, and there's a positive side to that.
Yes.
No?
And the world also recognizes it and praises you for it. So there's a
Yeah,
reinforcement of
exactly.
these behaviors. If they're coming from an a place that's not as healthy
Yes,
internally, they
that's
could
right.
hurt you. Yeah. Please go on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us
No,
more.
that's exactly right. Yes, so everything must be predictable.
Mhm.
So I become a control freak.
Mhm.
Everything must be predictable. So I become a perfectionist. And then truly, and I had this one, I am not lovable at all if I'm not perfect.
Yes.
And, I really had a belief that, in my spiritual life, and I'm going to say God and whatever people are comfortable with, but for
Of
me, it
course.
was God does not love me because I haven't done enough. Or God doesn't love me because I did all these really awful things in my life out of my childhood trauma. I made
Mhm.
really terrible choices. I did really stupid stuff with guys. I mean, I made really dumb choices in my life. So I felt like it's like I owe the creator something. I have this beautiful life and I owe something because I was such a schmuck. I did things I wish I didn't do. So that was part of it for me too. When I really started
Right.
testing, and the self-testing and finding out, okay, what was my belief that was running me? And I was surprised. I was like,
Mhm.
wow, okay, I don't even think like God should love me because I haven't done enough good things. I better make that up. So, we go through and really identify that. And that's what I did for this client I'm speaking of and many others for years, but looking at that and then showing the body literally what the body can see, it can heal. It just loses communication because of these blocks of
Yes.
negative energy and wrong thoughts that take up space, literally take up space in the body.
I love that. That is so powerful right there. I just wrote that down. What the body can see, it can heal. So
Yeah.
these false beliefs that are holding the energy and driving us is what I'm hearing. It's almost like
Yeah.
a seed that's grown into something in the body that's taking over and compelling us into these different behaviors.
Yeah.
And I know the
Yeah.
audience and myself, we can see those things often when we're doing something and we're
Yes.
like, why? I know I should be doing something else. I'm doing something here that's hurting myself. Me, it's just the one more email, trying to achieve, trying
Yes.
to finish or achieve the goal, even if it's a minor goal, and knowing I need to take a break. right? You know you
That's
need
right.
to take a break, but you just do that. You keep you're compulsively doing
Right.
one more thing, checking off those boxes. So I recognize, oh, there's the overachiever, the
Yes.
overfunctioner.
And it
So,
is compulsive. Yes, it
mhm,
is compulsive.
mhm,
And what happens then is, there are literally in the body, what you can see, you can heal. You have to be able to see it and bring it to
mhm,
the light. And then
mhm,
healing starts right away.
mhm,
But literally, and Candace Pert showed this with her groundbreaking book was Molecules of Emotion. And
mhm,
she was the first scientist to prove these emotions, these traumas, these beliefs literally take up physical space in the body. Just like, okay, if you had a terrible virus or you're gluten intolerant and you're eating gluten, your body can't digest it. Literally, trauma, emotions, false beliefs take up space in the body. And she was the first one to really prove that scientifically, which you and I probably knew before that, but maybe I didn't. I needed to hit my head against a brick wall like this one on my background for a while. Um,
I
that's
did
what I
too.
do.
I did too. Just I'm going to
Yeah.
add the me too in there because that's the stubborn part. I didn't realize why until
Right.
you realize why. And once
Right.
you can see it, the bricks in that wall start to fall apart, right? It
That's
doesn't
right.
hold you in that space the same way
That's
that it
right.
did before. But it's not like it's not an instantaneous change. And when you're trying to take those bricks down yourself, those brick walls down yourself, it's really helpful to have support, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
one of
Mhm.
the things I find, and one of the things we talk about at Best Healing Solutions is how fast our work works.
Mm,
Because we actually do a 24-hour money back guarantee because if you don't feel a shift in 24 hours, I don't want to charge you.
lovely.
Um, because when you 90% of our thoughts and behavior are run by the subconscious.
Mhm,
I mean, that is huge.
mhm.
So when our
90%.
90, yeah, it's over
Mhm.
90.
90. Mhm,
Yes. Yes.
mhm,
So when we realize that, no matter how good our rational mind is or how much we think about something or add strategies, it helps some.
mhm,
But what is running us is the subconscious. So that's one of the things we do at BHS that's my wheelhouse. I love because we get to what is going on at the subconscious level and bringing that to light. Okay, yes, I know I'm an overachiever. I know I'm a perfectionist. Do I
mhm.
really know why? Do I
Right.
really know why?
And do I know how to change it? Do I know
Right.
how? You can feel really captive by these things. You
That's
can
right.
see it, but you don't know how to change it, and your compulsive behavior keeps happening,
That's
and
right.
you need help, right? That's where the support comes in. Yeah, that's lovely. I'd love, we were talking about the root causes and the healing, and I'm fascinated by the process of finding out how you get and clear those root causes of disease or dis-ease, if we will. Could
Yeah,
you walk
that's
us
right.
through a little more of that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd love to hear
So
more.
yeah, yeah. So for example, the client I was starting to talk about, and then I get excited and go 5,000 other directions.
That's okay. It's acceptable here.
One of the things for her, she, had some difficult bosses, let's say,
Mhm,
and one in particular when she was close to retirement that was making her life very difficult.
mhm,
So she was assuming, okay, the reason why this adrenal fatigue has cropped up now is because I'm really stressed out, with my boss at work. Well, there's truth to that. Certainly she was. And then we were doing some testing, and there was a previous workplace as well that was showing up as a big stressor, in her life that had not been brought to the light, had not been cleared from the system, and I'll talk about that. But then when we got to the core and we were testing, I like to test priorities for the body. What was really the priority and what was the original wound that has led to
mhm,
all of this for her? And she started to cry, and it came up um, the really terribly abusive mom that she had had.
mhm,
And this went on her entire childhood, and the abuse was, verbal and emotional and very damaging and daily. And there were other siblings, and they were not treated that way. So, in the testing process, that's what came up as really her original wound that started off this pattern in her life of dis-ease and false beliefs that she had to be perfect, to have anything good in life. And, maybe if she had been perfect, mom would not have done this to her,
Mhm.
and that it was her fault.
Right.
So a lot of self-punishment. So we went through and I do all that with the muscle testing. I'm just doing this because that's a quick way to show it. It's
Mhm.
one of the
Mhm.
ways,
Mhm.
one of the ways of testing. And we've had good success teaching anyone how to muscle test if they're
Great, 'cause I do
willing to
want to
do
learn how to
so.
do that more myself.
Yeah.
I've tried, but I wasn't
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah, it's
I'd
so
love to.
empowering. It's so
Yes.
empowering. That's why we love to have people take our testing class just for that
Mhm.
reason, to start
Mhm.
learning that, even to test food, which is
Mhm.
huge in all of this too. But so we were testing through and finding, the priorities for her.
Mhm.
There were some physical things too, of course, and some physical support and things we needed to do differently there. So, whatever comes up in the physical, emotional, the neural pathways, the original wounds, the beliefs, the false beliefs are key. Finding all of that. And then what we literally do is reconnect. I call it reconnection. It's reconnecting the body within itself. So, for example, dis-ease comes from lack of communication in the body.
Mm.
Lack of communication, often with others, with the divine, within ourselves, within at a cellular level, within organ systems. Disconnect equals dis-ease.
Mhm.
At
That
all
makes
of
sense.
those levels, micro to macro. So disconnection is dis-ease. So we reconnect, and I just do that through certain points on the body that, resonate with certain organs, glands, tissues, brain areas, all of that. And reconnect all of this for the person. It's like turning on circuit breakers in a house at night so all the lights come on.
Mhm.
So we're turning on all the lights so the body can see again and communicate and connect within itself. When the system can do that and bring frequencies to light, what you reveal starts to heal. So we reconnect and bring that to light. And then the next step is really looking at, like I was talking about with Candace Pert and the molecules of emotion,
Mhm.
where in the body are these frequencies taking up space and contributing to dis-ease and dysfunction, unhappiness, lack of joy? Where exactly in the body is this?
Mhm.
And we go through, and of course, for every individual, it's different.
Mhm.
That's why I love what we do. It's not here, do that for everybody. It's for every person, it's different. Everything we find is different.
Mhm.
Some person it will be anger, some will be depression, some will be shame, or all of the above. Trauma is different. Our beliefs are all different.
Mhm.
Our generational history is different. And a lot of these things you'll find are generational. It's
Certainly.
patterns of successful people going, into overdrive, and what the family beliefs are. They
Mhm.
pass down too,
Mhm.
just like predispositions to other things.
Certainly.
So then we go through and we find out. So everyone's palette looks different.
Mhm.
What did we find? And we're almost like painting a picture together and finding, okay, these are the components for you. And then where literally in the body are these held? Is it adrenal, liver, stomach? Does the person have digestive issues? Do they have migraines? Are there areas of the brain that are involved? Is it lungs? Is it heart? Could be all of the above. Maybe something else for somebody. Maybe it's a spleen and pancreas for somebody else. Maybe it's dental health for somebody
Mhm.
else.
Mhm.
So we go through and we show the body and we touch different points that relate to organs, glands, and tissues.
Mhm.
and we do that clearing process with the person on the phone. And many times someone will say, "What are you doing?" I am feeling so much better already. There's already
Mhm.
something going on. This is working really fast. Or someone may have a release or a release of emotion.
Mhm.
And then we wrap it up at the end by giving them what we call a healing or treatment code. And
Mhm.
that is a series of acupressure points that when the client, so to speak, reads those points after the session, they are doing their own healing work now.
Mhm.
Because everything we did together, and it's an interaction, an exchange of energetic information. So everything we did together is in that session,
Mhm.
and then we clear that on the phone. But we all know we are intricate beings.
Yes.
So if we're done with that session, I don't want you to have to call me back in 2 days for another session. I want you to have this piece of paper with this
Mhm.
healing code so
Mhm.
that you can read through those acupressure points on your own and keep the healing moving.
Yes.
So, whatever we found keeps moving as you read that for yourself. So, it's really an empowerment but healing tool.
Mhm.
So, they read that code. I'll test, okay, let's say 4 times in a row, 3 times a day, read through the code. And they are clearing everything we worked on as they do that. The body keeps clearing. And anything else that's coming up underneath that, because we all know, everyone says, right? Healing is in layers. It's like
Yes.
peeling back an onion.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So as you're reading the code, then any other issues start to come up. And you don't even have to know what they are. If you know how to muscle test, you can find out. If you're stuck on something, you can ask for help. But
Mhm.
you are in a dynamic system, reading that code, moving through what may be coming up under this if there's something here, and
Mhm.
just moving that through by reading that code. So it's a pretty comprehensive package of, working together on the phone, reconnecting, finding what the issues are,
Mhm.
clearing them from organs, glands, tissues, and then you get your code and off you
Yeah.
go. And you keep doing clearing with that as well on your own.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what that looks like.
That's the method. And I also love that you send people home with an empowering tool to help themselves that's on point
Oh
for
yeah,
what they're repatterning in their lives, what they're continuing to release from what
that's
you
right.
discovered in the session. And I think that's
Yeah.
important because like we talked about in the beginning, or touched on earlier in the interview, was these neural pathways that are programmed to say, this is the highway, but we're trying to build that little off ramp, that dirt road into a paved road, and then broaden that while we reduce the old highway that was over trafficked, that was driving us into potential dis-ease and illness in our body, mind, and soul. So I remember driving in California one time, and there was this one off ramp that was called Freedom Boulevard, and I thought, oh, I want to go that. I want to
That's
take
a good
that
one.
road, right?
Yeah.
So let's take Freedom Boulevard into and create some new healthier neural pathways to for more possibility in life. So let's go there.
Right.
So what
That's
happens
right.
with your
Yeah.
clients once they
Mhm.
see this energy cleared? What do you see for them as far as
Yeah.
results? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we expect very quickly that
Mhm.
they will start to feel better physically,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then also start to notice that what is automatic is starting to shift
Mhm.
as well. Now, when you remove really the false beliefs, and I want to talk about replacing them with something beneficial and how you do that
Yeah.
in your life too. But when you remove those false beliefs and you really clear that trauma at a cellular level, how you think and feel totally changes.
Mhm.
And it happens quickly.
Mhm.
For this woman I was talking about, with the major, emotional upheaval with her mom and her whole childhood, within 2 days, she's like, my adrenals feel better. I am happy. I'm doing really great. And I feel really good. I said, well, just keep me posted. and she hasn't needed to call back for a long time. I've known her for years, and she'll call on occasion if there's something going on.
Mhm.
So, she had a very rapid response, and that's typical
Mhm.
because that heaviness that is weighing you down is now gone. It changes everything quickly, including cellularly. Now,
Mhm.
when you talk about the neural pathways, right? Yes, do we have a tendency to turn that corner and fall into that rut because we've
Yeah.
done that for so many years? So
Mhm.
then what do we need to do on the conscious side?
Mhm.
Because our work gets to that subconscious and it finds it better than anything I've seen. What is driving this ship off the
Mhm.
cliff? Or what's driving the bus off the cliff? Or
Exactly.
the ship into the dock or whatever metaphor you
The iceberg.
the
We
iceberg,
all
or the
understand.
iceberg. Yeah, so,
Yeah.
we're finding that really well, the subconscious aspect.
Yes.
But then in your life today, okay, what are you gonna do? Well,
Mhm.
first of all, what is the true belief? Okay.
Mhm.
The false belief, one of them was, I have to be perfect to be loved. I have to be perfect to be okay. Okay, well,
Mhm.
that's false. So that's a lie. What's the truth? The truth is, you're absolutely lovable in the eyes of the divine with no conditions, and there never have been conditions. Okay, so what's the new belief? What's true? What's true? And then I like to teach people about spiritual consciousness over time. Over time, in the session when we're working on trauma and doing all that heavy lifting really energetically, um, that's enough for a day because it
Yeah, it
works.
is. And there's a lot
Um,
of change that's happening at the same
that's
time
right.
and a lot of information for the body. So we can only integrate and take in so much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can only
Yeah,
drink
well,
so
and the
much. Mhm.
the one of the really awesome things with our work is, doing, either heart rate variability or dark
Mhm.
field microscopy,
Mm.
before and after our sessions,
Mm.
and watching how someone's heart has the ability to do more work immediately after the session,
Mm.
and how their, blood changes under a microscope and dark field microscopy,
Mhm.
following a session.
Wow.
So then it's like, okay, and we know those of us that are doing this, okay, that's enough for today.
Yeah. You feel
But
it. Mhm.
you do, you do.
Mhm.
So does the client. They're like, okay, yeah, and
Yeah.
I'll test it. Is it in their best interest to do more? No, no, and
Mhm.
we always listen to that
Mhm.
because it's not my agenda, it's
Yeah.
theirs, and it's about the person and,
Mhm.
and helping them get to Freedom Boulevard. I mean, seriously.
Yes. Yeah.
This is about, it's
Mhm.
about them and what's okay, and it's not we treat everybody the same, it's just not like that. So,
Yeah. We
but
want it to be the yeah, we want to feel that liberation from those old habits, if you will, conscious or unconscious. You can feel it
that's
in your
right.
body, the
Yeah.
energy, and then replace it with what is true. I love that. I love hearing you say that. It feels so good. It's almost like my body drinks that in. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's relief.
that's
Hmm.
right. That's right. And so, the spiritual consciousness work, that's part of it too, because one of the things I like to help people with just immediately, and it's just minor in a way, but it's a big shift, I think, energetically, is when you catch yourself, if you do, starting to go there, stop and just don't go there. Just stop and reframe
Hmm.
because when the automatic pattern that is running you and ruining you has been brought to light and you know what's caused that from a subconscious place,
Hmm.
you can much more easily then incorporate strategies that work in your conscious life because that's not there pulling you back anymore. So your automatic is okay, this is my routine. I'm doing this thing because I do it all the time. But then
Hmm.
if you catch yourself and go, no, wait a minute, no, just don't go there, you'll realize all of that was pulling you or pushing you into being compelled or
Hmm.
obsessed
Hmm.
is so much weaker.
Yeah.
That your conscious strategies, meditation, whatever you do, works so much better.
Mhm.
So it's not like pulling teeth to
Right.
get
Right.
that motor to stop.
Yeah, you're not a tug of war with yourself
Yeah.
anymore, with the energies that were taking up the space in your
Yeah.
body,
Yeah.
life
So it's really
itself.
fun.
Yeah,
So then those strategies work so much better.
makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. What else would you like to share about your work, and where this is going? So we've
Yeah.
talked about identifying, having awareness, looking and investigating the places that are stuck and taking up space in our bodies.
Yes.
We've talked about the method to release them, and then what,
Yeah.
and then to install the actual truth and to come into connection with that. And then
Yeah.
you just said create a pause. Like, can we catch ourselves and make a choice?
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to share about your work?
Well, I think what I'd like to say is that, like I was saying before, I just want to reiterate
Mhm,
because leaders and successful people are really smart.
mhm,
So I think that really bringing to awareness that 90% of what runs us is subconscious.
mhm,
So it doesn't matter how smart we are. And it's not, oh, I'm so smart. I should have been able to figure this out. No, this is subconscious, automatic, cellular programming. And most of this literally happened prior to the age of 5.
mhm,
So it's not that you're not smart. You're successful. You're a leader. You're amazing. It's 90% of what's running this program that's really hurting you is subconscious. That's the key. It's getting to that. Now, unfortunately, for a lot of us, myself included, when I, fell flat on my face at age 32 with health and, major issues there,
mhm,
was that by then my physical health was challenged as well,
mhm,
massively. If you had looked at my blood labs, they were horrific, and I was 32.
mhm,
So, that's part of it too, is by the time people get to us, and with our work, we work with a lot of people with chronic conditions in the health sphere and the physical, they've manifested physically too. So one of the other pieces with our work is we look at what's the physical as well.
mhm,
What is the diet that's best for them? What foods are they sensitive to?
mhm,
What products are they maybe sensitive to? How do we take a toxin load off the body? Do they have, vaccine residues and a lot of metals in their mouth? They have chemical exposures to, pesticides, or have they been involved in a home that had a gas leak or black mold?
mhm,
Uh, we find that a lot, especially you're in the tropics and so am I. Many of my
mhm,
clients that live in tropical locations have had a history of a lot of mold exposure.
mhm,
So not only do we get to, okay, what's at the subconscious root here that is running and ruining, but what's going on physically now that this has been running someone since literally cellularly since they were probably 5 or under. Well, that's why we all call it aging, but all of this over time has created so many issues in the body, even
mhm.
physically, that need to be discovered,
Right.
brought to light, and healed. So we do all of those comprehensive pieces at Best Healing Solutions also. So we help with the physical as well, because often that's where it's manifesting now, even though the root is something, that was non-physical at its core, and the beliefs and the automatic patterns. So I think we do a great job of dovetailing those things together to see, okay, what's going on in the physical body also. And then, I mentioned the generational aspects. Those we like to find those and bring them to light as well. And then really spiritual pieces too, because when we disconnect from the divine and we disconnect from our source, we have disease as well.
Mhm,
So I know one time I said to a group I was talking to, I think, 90% of health issues, when you boil them down, are really spiritual issues at their core. And I still believe that. is that we lose that connection because we lose the connection to our true self and
Mhm.
don't know what that is because of what we're bringing in from childhood in many cases. So,
That's right.
yeah, yeah, that's what I
Well, your
would add.
program sounds comprehensive, taking care of the mind, the body, and the spirit. We don't want to neglect these different parts of ourselves, our lineage, our practices, and our daily lives. And I love listening to you. I actually feel the energy coming through you that comes through your practice right now. It's really I feel very grounded and, you know, and happy in my body and relaxed. And so that energy is coming through you, Beth. And I just wanted to reflect that to you as well as you speak. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. And we're not even actually doing the work. So I can only imagine how much better it gets. And
I love it. I mean, it's my passion because, I love
it is.
people.
Yeah, it
I
is.
love
It's
people,
you. I can feel you, and it is you. This is an extension of you. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing all of that with us today.
of course.
This whole summit is about bringing us into connection with ourselves and really about being self-led so we can redefine what we think success is for
Yeah,
ourselves. And when
yeah,
we remove these energies that pull on us or hamper us or keep us in compulsive behaviors, there's so much more freedom and liberation to discover who we really are. And that doesn't mean that it changes what we do in the world, right? We could be still the
exactly.
same highly successful person, but we can have it with ease.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
enjoy.
Well, and one of the things I often say as well is our greatest strength can also be our greatest weakness.
Mhm,
Right?
mhm,
So our motivation can really, yes, like we're talking about, take us to a place of not having much joy or balance and all of this.
mhm,
But yes, your greatest strength remains your greatest strength, even when you find out what's subconsciously running you. It doesn't
mhm.
change that, yeah, hey, I kick butt, or I'm passionate and I'm successful and I
Yeah,
still am. It's
yeah.
just what's driving it is different,
Mhm,
and what's driving it is joy and being in the moment and having love and passion about what you do again, because it's not like, "Oh, I have to do this and I don't know why I feel this way." So, yeah, your greatest strength then becomes your greatest strength,
mhm,
and your greatest strength stops being your greatest weakness.
mhm,
So, yeah. Yeah, so your goodness, your characteristics that allowed you to be a leader and to be successful are still there.
mhm.
What's driving them is just totally different.
Yeah, it's coming from a place of just life. It's life giving versus something that feels draining.
That's right.
And you're having to force it in your life. So, yeah, like truly fulfilling life-giving work, life-giving
Yeah.
relationships, just life-giving attention to yourself, a place of self-love, nourishment,
That's right.
just regenerating,
Well, and the beating yourself
re-energizing.
up goes away. You know,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
"Yeah, I've got to be doing this," or "I'm not feeling good about myself," goes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a thing of
Yeah.
the past. So, yeah, then that's done.
You can really truly enjoy the fruits of your labor too with that, I can imagine.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Beth, let's talk about what you're excited about right now, and what you're launching, possibly what you're doing with your work, especially bringing this into the world.
Yeah,
What's next for you?
absolutely. Yeah. Well, what I'm excited about really is every day the people that I really have the honor to help, and I do truly
Mhm,
feel that way.
mhm,
It's an honor to help people because everyone is unique and every story is different, and what we find to help is different every time.
mhm.
So that is my passion and my excitement. I love helping people be free. So that said, what else am I excited about?
What else?
Um, what else I'm excited about is that we do have a mastery program.
Mhm,
So I teach other healers how to do this,
mhm,
or dentists or chiropractors or doctors. We have many people from many walks of life that want to learn how to do the work that we do at Best
mhm,
Healing Solutions. So I love that. So I've got a couple other teachers with myself on our team that teach all
mhm,
the classes.
Mhm.
And, that's just been really fun, and we've started to ramp that up more lately and adding more
Mhm.
classes. I think we added in 3 or 4 new classes this past, 6 months or so already.
Mhm.
So, just really taking it to a higher level so our students can feel really well trained and like they're master, practitioners.
Mhm.
Um, we start that with muscle testing, and once someone can do that, I always say the sky is the limit. You can learn everything else we do if you know how to muscle test, and then you can help yourself, everyone
Okay.
you love, your neighbors, your own clients if you have your own practice. So that's been something I am really excited about that we've been adding to and working on adding more classes. So that's really a joy to me because I love people becoming empowered
Yes.
so they can help themselves, and when they're really struggling, I love helping them. And then the next best part is them learning how to help themselves and moving forward.
Mhm.
And even a simple tool such as muscle testing, or then how do you go through and learn how to find what you need to find? And then that helps their entire rest of their life. And then anyone that they teach. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Well, let's make sure we get that link so we can put that
Yeah.
below.
Yeah.
And so that people can find more out that are interested in
Okay.
taking your mastery program, and
Yes,
can find
absolutely.
more about that. Okay.
Yeah.
I also understand you have a free gift for the audience today, and I
Yes.
wanted to know
Yeah.
if you'd like to share that with them now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to. I'd love to. Yeah, we have, I think, a marvelous ebook that really talks about our work, and it's not
Mhm.
boring. It talks about our work and gives
I
some tips.
can't imagine it would be boring, Beth.
Well, it does, it's got a little bit of the origins of energy medicine, but it's not that part's not the main part. So, about our work, and then how can you start to, learn to muscle test? What are some, we also give some of our healing codes. Like, okay, let's say, you have had trauma in your life that has weighed you down. You know it has impacted you. You may not even be sure of all of it because you blocked a lot of it out, which we do to survive.
Mhm.
We've got a trauma code, for example, that's in there, a trauma code to help clear old trauma. We have a code for fear. And some of those are in the book as well. So, how you can just start helping yourself, even if you don't know how to muscle test.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so we've got the free ebook, and that'll get you really going and started and excited and give you some good tools too, actually. Some free tools there for you.
Sounds good. Sounds really
Yeah.
good. And we're gonna have, our live Facebook, Q&As and potential practices as well, and Beth might be able to walk us through a sample practice, so stay tuned for that as well.
Oh, yeah,
Beth,
I'd love to.
any final thoughts or inspirations that you'd like to
Yeah.
leave with the audience today?
Yes. Please have hope because you can find the root cause of what is ruining you,
Mhm.
and it's ruining your life too. But you
Mhm.
can find that root cause. And that's what I love to help people with is what is that and how can I be free of it?
Mhm.
You can do that. And you've just got to know where to look and how to access the subconscious.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can find that answer and be free of it honestly once and for all.
Freedom once and for all. Freedom in our lives. I love it. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing your insights, powerful insights and wisdoms, Beth, with us today.
Thank you, Melinda. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. I know our audience is walking away with feeling more inspired and equipped to step into, more clarity and heart in their work and in their lives. And, everyone watching, just please stay tuned to your inbox throughout the summit. And we've got more powerful interviews coming your way and exciting live events happening every day. And just join us with our daily interviews and like I said, just continue to tune in with our Facebook group. I will be announcing, each day what guest speaker will be coming on, and I'm truly hoping that Beth has the opportunity and space and time in her calendar to join us at that time.
Oh, I'd love to do that, Melinda. Thank you.
Yeah. Such a blessing to have you here today. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and work with the world. And I only wish you more and more success and more healing for everyone.
Oh, thanks for having me. I love
Thank
meeting
you.
you. Thank you so much. You're a blessing as well.
Thank you. So we'll see you soon.
Um,
Everybody stay tuned. And again, you just won't want to miss a moment. So, and thank you everyone for joining us here today.